this. Okay, now I think you guys got me. So sorry about that. So hey everybody, I am Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson from My Radar. Our time is 10:20 p.m. Eastern Local Time here on a Friday night, January 10th, 2020. I want to give you a quick update on the severe weather we're tracking through parts of the south central U.S. and let you know what you can expect through the overnight and into tomorrow. As we take a look here, we just did a Facebook Live and there was a couple tornado warnings in Arkansas. Those have dropped, but the National Weather Service has confirmed 2 tornadoes. So let me take a quick look here. So the tornadoes were in, let's see, Logan County, Arkansas, and there was 2 reports in Logan County, and firefighters report that of one of those, power lines were down across Highway 109 between Prairie View and Midway. And then there was another report, and I apologize, I'm turning around, I have to look behind me. There was someone that was injured when they were in their storm shelter in Logan County, Arkansas as well. So that's really scary stuff too. So the areas you see shaded in green is where there's flash or aerial flood watches. But currently there is no tornado warnings for this area. Let me double check because I'm looking at the live chat from the National Weather Service and I don't see any. I just want to make sure our software will update too, but I just wanted to make sure I'm not missing something. So I'm going to show you a couple of pieces of video in a second. Let me take this full screen and we can take a look at what is going on. So it's been a busy day. There's been about 50 storm reports in this area of the country, and there's still the potential for a lot of severe weather tonight. So if you live in this area, you're under that current. There is severe thunderstorm watches and there's tornado watches up for the remainder of tonight. And there's also a moderate risk from the Storm Prediction Center of dealing with potentially some of these supercells that could be producing short-lived tornadoes. So we were in Arkansas for our Facebook Live, and that's where I've got the set point here, and there's still the radar software is actually still picking up on some rotation, so you can see it here, these little cylinders that are rotating. And a good way we can indicate the rotation is when we see what's called a couplet, and that's when you see the red inside the green, and that indicates that there are winds in a twisting direction. Some of the winds are going towards the radar site and some of them are going away from the radar site, and that's where we get some spin in the atmosphere, and the software can pick up on that and then indicates that there could be some early indications of a tornado that we would potentially have to be watching. So so far there are no there's severe thunderstorm warnings, but there are not any current tornado warnings, but of course that could change pretty quickly. Let me show you what was going on in the Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas area about 80 minutes ago. This was from one of the Twitter accounts that we follow, and you can see this impressive cloud to ground lightning, just fast and furious, the lightning. There's been a tremendous amount of lightning with this squall line, and of course there's been multiple tornado warnings. There's also been flooding problems. This is also in the Dallas area. This is in the town of Burleson, I believe, and you can see that earlier this afternoon the skies opened up and created a Pandora's box of weather for a lot of folks that were trying to get home on a Friday, still creating what again has been a really active weather day for much of the country. And what's interesting to note, you guys, is that we're going to be seeing this particular storm system impacting not just parts of Texas and Louisiana and the Gulf Coast states, but we're going to be talking about this system that's going to be impacting a lot of people across the eastern U.S., millions of people, multiple states. And it's not just severe weather, it's also there's also winter weather. So in some states we have winter weather warnings and we have severe weather warnings. So it's just been a very unusual system. Let me scoot past this because this is that was when I was trying to detect some tornadoes, but currently there aren't any warnings, but there is going to be the indication, the possibility for that to refire, certainly. And I don't want anyone to put their guard down because it's going to be a long night for a lot of folks. So we talked about bow echoes on the Facebook Live, and I see a little bit of what might be one trying to form here. It has been very apparent, these bow echoes, where it literally looks like a bow and arrow when you pull the actual bow out. And those can be indicative of straight line winds, supercells that are trying to produce tornadoes. So when you see that on a radar, it's very concerning that there could be some severe weather on the horizon, and we've already seen that. In fact, when I zoom in here, we see that there's the software's picking up on rotation down here, and there's severe thunderstorm warnings in this area. So if you live in this immediate area in Arkansas, you really need to be careful because this particular squall line has had a history of producing tornadic thunderstorms and supercells. So it's not just Arkansas, but it extends all the way up into the Midwest. We've been tracking it. Missouri had a confirmed touchdown with damage earlier today as well. And as we look at the last 12 to 18 hours or so, you can kind of see the genesis of this storm system kind of congealing. The jet stream was a big player. It's a big conveyor belt in the atmosphere, helps to pick up the storms and loft them quickly towards one direction or another, in this case towards the northeast at about 45 miles an hour. And we have the subtropical jet that's also, or the southern jet that's been playing a big factor in this as well. So we've got a lot of rotation in the atmosphere. The thunderstorms are able to lift quickly and freely up to the higher levels of the atmosphere, 40, 50,000 feet in the atmosphere, and that can produce these supercells. So the storm prediction, by the way, reissued and re-extended their polygon to include Mississippi a couple of hours ago. So about 5 million people still at a moderate risk for these supercells. These tornadic storms, 15 million people at an enhanced risk, about 9 million at a slight risk, and about 4 million at a marginal risk. So we don't want anyone that's, in this area of the country to go to bed and say, hey, we haven't seen a lot of severe weather play out. We're still just getting started. So we expect this to be an overnight event. We still expect there to be the possibility of some of these isolated tornadoes, hail for sure, and I think we're going to see a lot of wind, you guys. We've had several reports of hail damages, about 35 or so tonight so far in this area of the country, and I think we're going to see more as that squall line kind of elongates and gets more organized and stretches all the way from the Midwest all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. This is a huge system, and then behind it is winter weather. So they've got freezing rain and snow. The folks that got severe weather today are going to be getting winter weather tomorrow, and even in some cases tonight, and even some black ice. So it is a very dynamic system in terms of all of the weather that's on the table here, in terms of severe weather, winter weather, and then we've also got this threat for these storms to be supercells. So the jet stream itself has been one of the predominant features that we've been watching. And another feature that I want you to pick out is this right here. This particular product is called the Significant Tornado Parameter, a fancy word for basically a title that basically just takes a look at the parcel of energy in the atmosphere. And again, I kind of use that analogy of how quickly these storms can grow tall. Like if you put it in a mason jar and it just grew, and it was a sponge and you added water to it and it just grew and grew. That's kind of how this is. With this particular product helps us to define where there could be some risk here. So Louisiana, parts of Mississippi. We think as we head through the day tomorrow and into especially Sunday, we're going to see this particular system kind of flatten out and max out hopefully tomorrow. So most of that energy will be gone, but there's still ample energy in the atmosphere right now. The Cape has been anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 joules, and that is plenty of time, plenty of energy to fire these storms. So we definitely want people to be aware. By the time it gets to the mid-Atlantic, we don't think it's going to be a significant threat, but we do think a lot of this weather is going to be producing flooding conditions, icy conditions, snowy conditions, and of course we've got the severe weather. So I wanted to point this out too, because I pointed this out in this Facebook Live. Look how much of the United States is under the direct impact from this one storm system, or will be between now and Sunday. There's also, of course, a lot of winter weather in the Pacific Northwest. It's another system we were tracking, we've been watching for the last couple of days. So there's snow. They've also got some icy conditions here, but the bulk of the really bad weather has been from this one particular system that will be impacting almost half of the country between now and tomorrow and into early Sunday. So it's really a very a large system that continues to impact a lot of people as we head through the remainder of tonight. Let me take this again full screen for you guys real quick so you can get a better look. And then here is a look at the precip forecast. I wanted to touch on this because a lot of the headlines have been talking about the severe weather threat. I don't want people to forget, because I showed you that video out of Fort Worth, that there's also going to be some flooding concerns. So even though we're talking about 2 to 3 inches, and there's a lot of, I know, cities on here, hopefully you can pick one of yours out, or at least a city that's near you, even 2 to 3 inches of rain in just 6 hours or less can create flooding problems, flooded out roads, especially roads that have already seen a heavy amount of rain. So please be careful as you head through the next 12 to 18 hours. There's the big picture, and boy, look at that big, impressive system charging through the central United States tonight and into eventually the Mississippi and Ohio river valleys as we head into the day tomorrow. And then after that, hopefully this thing will be mainly out of its energy source, but it's still going to have a long arm in terms of the winter weather it brings. So here's a look at the forecast product. Again, the cold front sweeps through behind this actual squall line, heads off towards the east, and then behind it is all that winter weather as we head into the next couple of days. That moving through the Midwest, Great Lakes. The bulk of that energy, by the way, as we get into tomorrow and into into Sunday, should be headed off into Canada. So I think once the U.S. is done with this system in about hopefully 24 hours or so, we should be done with most of the worst of the weather, because I think it's going to scoot right up into Canada, but it's going to be, again, producing a lot of that icy road conditions, and black ice will be a concern, I think, and especially for the Midwest up into Michigan. The lake effect snow machine also going to be a big weather maker as well. Okay, you guys, that's going to do it for now. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what we're tracking. We're keeping an eye on all this for you tonight. Meteorologist Mike Linden will be in here tomorrow tracking the weather for you, and I think that will do it. It's about 10:31 Eastern Time. Again, my name is Leslie Hudson. I'm the Chief Meteorologist here for My Radar. Let me show you our handles real quick so the boss is happy. Here's where you can find us. You can find us on Facebook at /MyRadar, Twitter at MyRadarWX. We're on Instagram at MyRadar as well, and of course YouTube. We're really trying to grow that channel, and if you're watching on YouTube, we currently have 2 phone giveaways. I don't know if you know that. Every 10,000 subscribers, we give away another phone, and we just did 40,000 and 50,000 within 1 week, so there are 2 chances to win a phone. So you have to subscribe to the channel, and the winner, I believe, is getting picked Tuesday of this upcoming week. Okay, you guys, that'll do it for now. Stay safe, and we'll see you later.